My to-do list says that I should show Mike G how to compare two user security definitions. I think I'll review those steps now. Start in the investigator, definitions, and I'll choose two users. And I'll search for those. So, Olga and Dean. I could display some information about each, and you see details in the bottom, and I could visually compare them that way. But what I want to show is the topology viewer. So I'll select the two users that I'd like to compare, and I'll add them to the topology viewer. Now I can right-click on the user and see some information, and oftentimes relationships and counts are enough. So interestingly, this user has 4 roles, so let's find out a little more about that. And so does this user, so let's find out a little more about that. What I can do now is I can expand those 4 roles. And I can expand these 4 roles. And I can see that they share the same 4 roles, and so that's kind of interesting. I could right-click and find out some information about each of the roles. This one has 196 users in it. This one has 63 users in it. This one has 374 users in it. And this one has 406. That's kind of interesting because there are so many users in this role. I think I'll find out something else about it. I'll take a look at the rules, which represent the resources it covers. And it has 13 rules. And I could explode them here, but even 13 starts to be a little bit much to look at. So one of the actions that I have is I can view those rules in the grid. So now I can switch back to a tabular view, and I can see the information about the 13 rules. And I can just as quickly switch back to the topology view, where I could do things such as explore other relationships. So if I said, let's add the information that there are a lot of users in this role, and then if I wanted to limit how many I wanted to look at, I could click on this, and if there were information unique to users, I could build a filter, very much as I did in the grid of the investigator, to limit the users that I wanted to visualize. For example, maybe only ones who haven't accessed the system or have special privileges. So the interesting things here are that rather than showing all information we can limit, in many cases knowing counts on relationships is more important than seeing the actual data. And we have the ability to limit what we visualize. And of course you can do things like zoom in and out. And we can switch between tabular data and graphical data. At this point I feel ready to show Mike how to use the investigator and topology viewer. If I want to keep notes for myself, I could save this session as a path, and then I could refer to it later or even share it with Mike.